Who are the millennials? Millennials were born between 1981 and 1996, and they take up a quarter of the global population. Easy to say, the thoughts and choices of millennials will shape the future. I am also a millennial. So I guess you can say millennials are highly intellectual and express themselves, of course, through social media. Millennials are also focusing on Asia's growth potential. So what about Korea? Today we'll meet millennials from different countries around the world to talk about Korea. What are their views on Korea? What are their prospects for Korea's future? Well, Sarah, thank you for coming and enjoying tea time with me. I wanted to know more about how did you come to Korea?
The first time that I came to Korea was in February 2013, so more than 7 years ago now. I grew up in a really small town called Bowling Green in Virginia. So from a young age, I was kind of interested in the concept of foreign countries. Between middle school and high school, I started learning Taekwondo. So that was actually the first time I'd ever met a Korean person in my life.
So your introduction to Korea was actually Taekwondo?
Yes.
Wow.
To kind of become friends with them, I went on like Google Translate. Hello, thank you, how are you? So I was like, 안녕하세요, 잘 지냈어요? And they're like, oh, you're learning Korean, let's be friends.
Yeah.
And actually, it's funny, one of the guys, he said, oh, if you come to Korea, I'll buy you a meal.
Right.
I'll take you out for dinner.
Which
And I
is
was
very
like,
Korean.
It's very Korean.
Really
but
nice.
actually, funnily enough, he actually did buy me that meal 1 year ago.
Wow.
Yeah, we lost touch for a really long time, but then we reconnected through Facebook and we were able to meet. It was so cool.
Yeah. But you didn't stay for that long, no?
Yeah, I had to go back to the States to go to college. So I was here for 10 months the first time, but I was kind of like, this can't be it. So I came back as an intern. I worked at an NGO that helps North Korean refugees after my first year of college.
Okay. Well, this looks great. All of this stuff looks really good.
Yeah, looks.
Well, I want to know about how you came to Korea.
Korean economy is the most important thing for me for attraction for South Korea. Because from childhood I was watching in TV in my home is Samsung, old products from LG. My first mobile is for Samsung and LG, and I read that not just made in China, it was made in Korea. Where is the Korea? I thought ICE economy is good. In 2017, just to see South Korea, when I came, it's an amazing country.
What kind of business?
Actually, I'm doing the export-import, like a cosmetic, rice, and clothes, Indian handcraft, and this kind of business, and hotel and restaurant business I have also.
Okay.
Yeah, but not in Korea. I have planning to start in South Korea. I have a hotel and restaurant in Cambodia and Vietnam also. But next year I'm going to set up my office in South Korea.
And you're from Taiwan?
Yes, I'm from Taiwan. I've been to Korea for almost 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I heard that you were dating a Korean, or is dating a Korean guy.
Yes, I am
What's the
still
story?
dating with a Korean guy
Yeah.
who I met in Taiwan. I follow him.
Okay. Also, can I ask, what do you do in Korea? What kind of job?
I have been a journalist before, and now I work in a cosmetics company
Oh, wow.
as a sales and a marketer.
Okay.
Yes.
So are they very influenced by the Korean cosmetic industry? What do you think? Trends when it comes
Yeah, I think so, because the K-drama and K-pop is really famous worldwide and in Taiwan also. So people in Taiwan who really likes K-pop makeup and they want to follow idols' makeup.
Right.
And they were searching what cosmetics they used. So I think people worldwide now, they really loves Korea cosmetics.
Sure.
So also there's a hashtag like K cosmetics,
Right.
K beauty.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you usually market your products on social media? Is that a big platform?
Yes, in Instagram.
And Instagram?
Yeah, and
Sure.
YouTube.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you do tutorials on YouTube as well? Because you're pretty. I feel like you would
Oh,
be
no.
on the on the YouTube and
I doing YouTube right now.
Okay.
Yeah, vlog
about your life here in Korea.
in Korea. I promote this like glittering product.
Okay, shimmer and
Yes, and that's K-pop and idols who really use a lot. This really helps a lot that when I promoting my product, then I say which idol use this product and top selling.
really.
Yes.
So if you can prove that, you know, Jennie from Blackpink used
Yeah.
this one product, then
And that product
sell out.
hot
Wow, it's the power of K-pop.
of K-pop.
Yeah.
Actually, I was on a working holiday in Australia. I made many Korean friends in Australia. And one emo in Australia, she even made like kimchi for me. So that's how I got to Korean food. And in Australia already, my Korean friend teach me how to make kimbap. So I got like kind of into Korea at this time.
Well, what kind of reputation do you think Korea has in your country?
When Germans think about Korea, usually in German media, when it comes about Korea, it always comes to North Korea. So there's always a big debate about North Korea, but South Korea is a little bit less
Quieter.
behind. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's quiet about South Korea.
Well, lots of people also talk about the tension in Korea when it comes to politics. You know, North Korea, South Korea. Do people in your country, are they aware of this? Do they say, oh, Korea's dangerous, don't go?
Some people, or like maybe they didn't know the difference between North and South Korea. It's like, oh, you're gonna get killed if you go there. And I'm like, oh, it's actually really safe, it's fine. I guess there was kind of a lot of outdated ideas about what kind of country Korea was.
Right.
Korean Peninsula. You know, when I arrive in Korea, I say that it's an absolutely safe country. Even Korean people might not have a war and fight situation in mind this country. They are peace people. Even I went many times in DMZ. There is no tension.
Right.
When they saw the news and they will call me like, are you sure you are safe in Korea? You want to come back like this? I don't really worry about that, I think.
What about like common crimes and things like that?
And I think it's quite safe in Korea because I can hang out with my friends until 3 a.m. and I won't feel worried.
Right.
So I think it's really safe in Korea.
Sure. There must have been an impressionable moment, a time where you thought, wow, this is very interesting about Korea.
In Korea, I think it's internet.
Yes,
Internet's really fast in Korea.
so fast.
'Cause I'm a BTS fan.
Yeah.
So sometimes I booking the ticket. I always faster than my friends in Taiwan.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I booked the ticket and my friend is still loading the page. That's the most impressive thing, I think.
Sure.
The internet in Korea is really good.
Yeah.
5G. Food is really still good,
Delivery.
very good. It's really common to
Right.
use that app or this kind of service. You can order a chicken
Anytime.
anytime at 5 o'clock. Yeah, it's really convenient in this point.
What about shopping and things like that?
The best thing in Korea is I can use credit card everywhere. We still use cash more than
Okay.
credit card in Korea. That I can only use one card and hanging out all day.
Right, because even if you take the subway or the bus, you use your credit card.
All-in-one card like credit card and transportation card. I also can use credit card in convenience store, but I cannot use credit card in my country.
Flashed by how modern the airport looks like. And then we took the Konghashol to Seoul, and I just saw out of the window all the skyscrapers and these glass buildings, and I saw this moment I felt like I'm in the future somewhere. I felt like, what's Europe like? I feel like we are like back behind 100 years when I see this modern building style here.
Did you take the subway from the airport? Did you take a cab? Did you take a bus?
No, I took the subway.
How was that experience?
It's just so fast, yeah, like 40, 50 minutes you're already in Seoul Station. And so fast and convenient. The only thing which was make me like feeling weird about Korean public transportation was the thing that transportation, like 지하철, they all stop at around midnight and reopen like 5:30 a.m.
Sure.
I'm really interested in, I guess, like the Korean brand of democracy.
Okay.
I think it's kind of a really special and very fascinating case because democracy is actually quite young in this country. And it's really interesting to see how different people who have lived through all these different periods of time, some of them like extreme hardship, but then also on the other hand, you have extreme growth and
A short amount of time who know nothing about the hardships.
no, yeah. And so it's how all of these generations and then different people from different regions have totally different experiences of the same thing.
Right.
And then talking to them about it, it's really interesting. I feel like in the States, this definitely isn't everyone, but I feel like in the States, for a long time at least, it's like, if I don't agree with something the government does, maybe I'll say something about it on Facebook, but I mean, at the end of the day, maybe I wouldn't go out and participate in a big protest or something. Whereas in Korea, you see people raising their voices, expressing their opinions all the time.
Right.
And I think the amazing thing is, I mean, there are definitely people who disagree with each other very strongly, but very, very rarely do you ever see people like engaging in violence. It's very peaceful.
Right. A lot of peaceful protests going on.
Yeah, and
the candlelights,
Yeah.
the sit-ins and things like that.
So I was actually here in 2016. I was like, this is going to be a really important moment in Korean history.
Yeah, I would say so that, the whole world was watching. Peaceful protest, they were heard, nobody was killed or anything like that. But that's pretty cool.
I just remember you like rise up and it's just all these candles. I've never seen so many people in one place in my life, and I probably never will again in my life. And it was just so incredible seeing all of these people gathered. I think that's 2% of the entire population of this country in this one place. It was like fireflies.
It was
almost
a beautiful sight to see. It was very ironic.
I mean, it was an unfortunate incident.
That's right. What do you think the appeal is?
But when I came to Korea already in the first 2 weeks, I noticed, why don't my friends, like when we go to supermarkets, they don't close the car, they just park it and sometimes even leave open the windows. So I thought, how crazy are you guys?
Right.
Somebody come and ride your car, or like leaving your phone when you go to toilet, or things like that. Or sometimes I found a wallet in the street and nobody touched it, like the money looks out. I saw that really, I saw that.
It's like bait. It's like telling you, come take me.
Yeah, take me, so nobody take it.
Yeah.
So that's amazing, like.
Right.
I noticed that before, and I think there's high level of morality of Korean people. So I think, yeah, it's also the advantage of Korean. Yeah.
Right. A lot of trust as well.
Yes.
between people.
Yeah. In Korea, we still like cell phone, laptop, and then go to bathroom.
Right.
It's like no one will steal it, in our opinion. So it's really, I think it's morality.
Yeah. K-pop is such a huge sensation around the world.
Yes, yes.
Which is part of the reason why I ended up coming to Korea. What are your thoughts about K-pop?
Mostly, I heard in New Delhi. Many times I heard the turn on radio is BTS song.
Wow.
When I upload my photo in my Instagram, I tag only BTS Army India. They start to follow me and they messaging me.
Yes.
In one day, I got more than 10,000 messages from
Wow.
India.
Yeah.
And my photo is I got like maybe more than 300K. Only from India.
Do you think it's addicting?
Yeah, it's kind of addiction, I think.
Okay. How your friends back home, do they listen to K-pop or?
One of my best friend, her name is Rebecca. I've known her since I was 7 years old. She would like tease me in a friendly way. Like when I said I wanted to go to Korea, she's like, oh, like, why do you want to go there? Like, because at the time, a lot of people didn't know about Korea. I went home for Thanksgiving last year. And so she picked me up from like my parents' house and I get in her car and BTS is playing.
In her car.
In her car. And I was like, are you a BTS stan?
Right.
Like, when did this happen?
Yeah.
And I thought she put it on for me as like a joke or, I don't know, to make me feel comfortable. And she's like, oh no, like I love BTS. I became a big fan when I was in college. I was like, what? Like this girl that I've known since I was a child is a fan of BTS now.
Right.
I'm like, when did this happen? So it's crazy how mainstream K-pop has become in the US.
You are a BTS fan. Are you a registered ARMY?
I'm an army.
Yeah?
Yes.
Who's your favorite?
Jin.
Jin.
Jin. Jin.
연락해.
Jin.
Yeah. Call Vicky Jin.
Call me.
Yeah. Who cares about your boyfriend? It's Jin.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I love. And when I go abroad, the first thing I said is, do you know BTS? And people, oh, you love BTS. Then, okay, the conversation starts.
Right. It's an icebreaker.
Yes, yes.
Representing Korea, but also representing millennials
Yes.
and younger
So-
generation.
Cheers.
Because I have been there for 4 years. So
You just feel connected.
I just feel comfortable. When I'm in Korea, I feel like I'm home. I think just love this country for no reason.
Right. That's great.
Yeah.
Well,
And
thank you. Me. I've been here for almost 10 years, 9 years. And so Korea to me is an opportunity. I think it has more opportunities for me and other people as well compared to my hometown in LA. So I think that's the reason why people keep coming and they stay for years and years and they succeed here in Korea. It's definitely up.
I think Korea give more opportunity for people. If like, I'm in Taiwan now, I think I won't be in cosmetic area because I majored in French before, so I think I can only do French thing was in Taiwan, but in Korea I can do more.
More open.
Yeah,
More
more
open
open
doors
in Korea.
Well, there's a lot of things that Korea is gaining attention for, and it's, the music, the movies, but also the medical services when it comes to safety in response to COVID-19 and things like that. What is your response? What's your reaction to Korea's response?
Korea follow each case to the source, like where it came from and went to. So that's how they can really well manage the virus and control the spread.
Right.
I actually bought a plane ticket. I was gonna leave. A lot of the things that I was worried about, I guess as an American, I was like, oh, people are probably gonna start panic buying, or there's gonna be chaos.
Right.
I think I was projecting my expectations for Americans onto Koreans. So then when nothing happened, I was like, oh, okay. People all over the world have lauded South Korea's response to this virus. Without closing the borders even, they were able to keep the number of cases to a minimum using testing, tracing, and treatment. I think that was like the 3 T's strategy that they used. And what Korea did, it's really amazing because on the one hand, like they protected people's democratic rights. So it's like Korea, they're able to protect people's democratic rights and also their safety from at the same time. Whereas in a lot of countries, it's kind of been either one or the other.
Right.
People in Korea, they protecting themselves very well, like wearing masks in subway and keep social distance. So I think Korea is doing great.
I've been to Taiwan once, and I learned a bit of a similarity between Korea and Taiwan, being occupied by Japan.
I don't know why. Taiwanese people, we don't really hate Japan. We still close
welcome.
with Japan.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, interesting. It's really different from Korea.
Just last year, there's always tension, but in 2019, we're going to boycott Japanese products and things like that. Were you aware of that?
I think it's really good for boycott Japan because Korean has their right to speak out for Japan because their economy is going down and down. But I think Korea is still doing great and the economy is still great.
Right.
Actually, my American friend from childhood, she's an English teacher in Japan. So I was in Japan for her wedding.
Oh, wow.
Right when that happened.
So how'd they take it?
From the people that I did talk to, a lot of them like didn't understand why Koreans were like protesting and like I guess making a big deal out of it.
Did you take part in that? How did you?
Yeah, so I didn't want to be seen in a Uniqlo during that time. I think there was an app where you could check if a product was from Japan.
Really?
Yeah, so if we would go to like a CU or a GS25 and they wanted to get a drink, but they weren't sure if it was from a Japanese company, they would check on their phone to make sure that they weren't undermining. I mean, and that's their right.
Yeah.
If that's what they want to do, they have the freedom to do that.
Everywhere I saw that. Everywhere. Boycott Japan. I like these things.
Oh, okay.
India have a good relation with Japan and Korea also. From my country, I don't have a problem. But I like the spirit because Korean people always stand together.
I definitely believe that Korea gained their second independence from
Yes.
Japan
Yes.
because of economical growth and things
Yes.
like that.
They fight with Japan economically.
Right.
They start to everything manufactured in Korea, not
Right.
for Japan.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's why they are real fight and they win.
And they win. They
win.
won.
Definitely they are going more.
Well, cheers.
Yes, yes, why not? Cheers.
This year marks the 75th anniversary of Korea's liberation from Japan. Despite many crises, Korea has shown great perseverance in the face of difficulty. Korea declared a second liberation with economic independence and has now risen as a leading country of the post-COVID-19 age. What kind of opportunity can this country offer to millennials? We will discuss the future of Korea from the viewpoints of millennials next week.
Korea is something new, and I want to experience some Asian culture. So it became Korea for me.
부산에.
Yes.
And it's a very funny movie inside the.
Funny movie.
Yeah, so funny because I like
Zombie.
Zombie.
If we could start selling patbingsu in America, I'd be super happy. You know, globalized patbingsu.
That's you. That's your business.
That's me.
How long have you been an army?
Actually, only 1 year. June.
You're lucky.